And do you remember which book of Tom Regan was that you first read?
It was a case, actually. It was the
Oh,
case. I mean, I don't recommend that people go for the case for animal rights, but that was the only one at the time. So that was his first book, 1983. I always recommend that they go for Defending Animal Rights, which is 2001. That's a set of journal articles, which means they've got a beginning and a middle for each chapter, and so it's easy to read.
yeah.
There's also one called the Animal Rights Debate, which is
Hmm.
pretty good, and another one called Animal Rights and Human Wrongs, which is sections from the case without it
Okay.
being the case. You
Yeah.
know, there's a lot of problems with that book now, but they're bound to be. I know you're familiar with Reagan's work,
Hmm.
Seb, and I mean, it's quite dated now. But also another issue is the fact that he wrote it in a very conservative way,
Yeah.
because back in the day, and he kind of started really late 70s, right? Back in the day, people used to laugh at the idea of animal rights and even the idea of animal liberation. And so it was seen as almost a denigration of human rights. And so there was an initial hurdle to overcome and say, well, look, give us a fair hearing here. And so, Reagan kind of formed everything very conservatively, kind of a subject of a life, which is a controversial concept of who qualifies, as it were, and this kind of stuff. So there are some problems on that text. At the same time, it's our foundational rights-based text, so
Mm.
it's still important in that sense.
Yeah. I actually just purchased two secondhand books. Defending Animal Rights. I've read Animal Rights and Human Wrongs. I found it much easier than the case of animal rights.
Yeah,
The
it
case,
is. Yeah, it is.
as you said, the case for animal rights is quite a intense and heavy book to read. It's quite long as well. And
Yeah,
yeah,
it's 400 pages.
the animal rights
Yeah.
debate. Is that the one that includes, I believe, Cohen and Singer and Gary Francione, or?
No, no, just Cohen. So it's Carl Cohen and Tom
Okay.
Regan. And
All
then
right.
there's a separate book, which is Gary Francione and Robert Garner.
Hmm.
So Singer's not involved with either of those.